and my partner producer, Tim Kerr.
I'm going to start off with a couple of questions. One, obviously, where did you find these people?
Well, most of them we found on the internet. Although Bill Blakemore, who talks about the Native Americans, was one of the first people to really dive deep into, exploring the symbolism of The Shining. In 1987, we wrote an article about it that was syndicated, throughout American newspapers. But a lot of the other folks have started more recently, and posting their analyses online.
And why the choice not to show their faces?
Well, there's two things, sort of behind that. First off, just logistically, it's a lot easier. I did a short in a similar style in which I would mail people digital audio recorders and then talk to them on the phone and ask them to press the red button and confirm with them that the counter was going up, up, up. Just because this thing was made, at the beginning, this started off as a project with absolutely no budget. But also, after the short and putting together some of the first couple of interviews, there started to get something really interesting about not seeing the faces and keeping this story sort of like in the world of imagination. I think sometimes you'll see an interesting montage in the documentary and it cuts back to a talking head shot of some guy sitting in a hotel room, and it's like, the magic spell has been broken and we've kind of come up for air, and I never wanted to come up for air.
We also like the idea of stripping real world credentials from the people. We don't say journalist or give a job description and so forth. We just let their ideas stand on their own.
And what can you tell us about the score, which is over top?
It's an amazing soundtrack. I was incredibly lucky to get the services of these two guys, Jonathan Snipes and Phil Hudson. Probably best known for, well, Jonathan's got a band called Captain Ahab, which is kind of ferocious and amazing, but they also performed with some other guys in a band called Nildog, which Troll2 fans might recognize, that specializes in sort of cover versions of analog synthesizer horror movie classic themes like Suspiria or Dawn of the Dead or The Exorcist. So when a friend of a friend recommended them, it was like I had struck gold, because I was using sort of similar music from that time, from the late 70s, early 80s as my temp, and I loved the way that kind of music sort of raises the stakes in what you're seeing. Like it might be some, Italian zombie ripoff movie, but when it's got that kind of transcendent, repetitive synthesizer score, it's this weird sort of horror version of Philip Glass, and it makes things have this sort of transcendent quality that raises the stakes. Like, this isn't just the story of, three people trapped in a cabin. This is something that has cosmic significance, and these people are surrogates for some kind of battle between good and evil.
Do we have any questions from the audience here? Yes? How easy was it to so is it?
Well, you want this one too?
It's a process, Are you interested in the specifics? We work together with craft lawyers, Thomas and Kalen, and they sort of do this. And there's a serious vetting process. We address certain issues in different ways. But without going into the absolute specifics of each shot, it's really hard for me to kind of explain.
There's a nightmarish, Word document where every shot in the movie is cataloged in a different way. But it wasn't a problem that couldn't be solved with the help of time and paperwork and lawyers and money.
Lots of time, paperwork.
Is there anything that you couldn't show, or you weren't able to get?
There's a piece of music, but it was little things, and almost every solution that we were forced to look for, almost always came out creating something a little more interesting.